Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy Beans, and today's video is a big one. I am finally moving to the desert. I am trading my pretty awesome off-grid lifestyle here in Northern California to move to the Chihuahuan Desert of New Mexico. And of course, you're probably thinking what everyone's thinking. Cool Beans, why the hell would you do that? And that's exactly what I'm going to answer in today's video. Who am I? I'm Beans, like I said earlier. I've been living in Northern California for the last 3 years, completely off-grid. Before getting completely off-grid, I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area for my entire life. And for 20 of those years, I was an HVAC technician repairing air conditioning and refrigeration stuff, mainly in the high-tech R&D and manufacturing side down in Silicon Valley. There's lots of fun stuff and opportunity down there. 3 years ago, me and some friends decided it would be a great idea to just quit our jobs and move to the woods. And ever since then, I've been up here off-grid in High Palm. My buddies actually live just down that way on the house below us. And my faithful companion here, Augie, I picked him up from the shelter the week I got here so I would have somebody to hang out with. When I first got up here, I was actually living alone for a few months. So Augie has been my faithful companion this entire time, and you'll definitely see him in future videos. While living in the Bay Area, I had the time and the ability to start growing food and plants and learning more about that stuff, which I found really interesting. And when I got here to High Palm, I actually had enough time to get my permaculture design certificate so I could further advance my skills, and I'm hoping to put those to the test. The decision to move I've been thinking about for a couple years now. After living here in Northern California, learning self-sufficiency, learning more about renewable energy systems, learning about regenerative growing, I just thought, man, there's probably a better place to practice this than the pristine forest. So that really made me start looking at the desert and places like the desert. Places in America where you can buy land for a reasonable price that people deem basically unworthy. Reasons. Let's start with the number one reason, which is a challenge. The number one reason of moving to the desert is it's a challenge. After becoming basically self-sufficient and off-grid here in the forest, I think it's time for something a little bit harder. The desert is significantly more unforgiving than the forest. The forest, there's always water, there's always shade. You're pretty much guaranteed to be okay. There are lots of animals living here if you had to actually harvest your own food. The desert, completely unforgiving. While there are animals, there are plants, there's just not as many. There is no water. There's a ton of heat. There is no trees. So significantly more of a challenge. Number two, building completely from scratch. Basically, I have 1 acre of land over there with nothing on it. No power, no water, no electricity, no sewer, just unlimited potential. The ability to create whatever you want from your imagination, and obviously whatever the state will legally allow you to build, is very, very, very appealing. So the number 3 reason to move to the desert permaculture. The opportunity to use all the permaculture principles possible to try to improve the situation in the desert, where it's hot and it's dry and it's windy and it's dusty and plants don't want to grow. But we know they do grow there because they are growing there right now, just not as many as we'd like. So let's go there, prove that we actually can grow a food forest for everybody, prove that you can be self-sufficient in the middle of the desert, and prove them all wrong with a little bit of permaculture knowledge. 4 reason, a little bit of simplicity in my life. In a world where everything becomes increasingly complex every year, it's nice to think that I can just go to the desert with a tent, my dog, and a bunch of tools and build a whole new future from scratch with only those things. Move will align perfectly with my love of bioregionalism and SolarPunk. I'll be able to use local materials to build my house, sustainable technologies to power it, and demonstrate that we as humans can actually adapt to nature and not force nature adapt to our way of living. I'm not naive, and I know that living in the desert comes with its own set of unique challenges. The heat can be brutal. Water is scarce and extremely precious. And yeah, there are rattlesnakes and scorpions and other animals that I haven't even thought about that live out there that I'm gonna have to learn how to live with. After living off grid up here with these dogs and my experience in HVAC and construction, I'm pretty confident I'm ready for these new challenges and looking forward to taking them on. So in just 3 weeks, Augie and I will be putting all of our stuff in a trailer. By the way, I've never towed a trailer before, so that's a first. We'll be driving our butts to New Mexico and starting a new life. There will be 3 phases. The initial phase will be me setting up a camp that I can live in while I'm building my house in the desert. Phase 2 will be setting up some rainwater harvesting and water storage systems, because you can't live and build in the desert without water. And then phase 3 will finally be building the house and the food forest and all that kind of stuff. And you better believe the entire time I will be making a ton of content. Personally, for me, this move represents basically putting all of my years of skills and knowledge to the test in an environment that I've never even experienced, which is, you know, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's exciting. I am super juiced about this move. So if you have any experience in the desert, if you're a current desert dweller or have been in the past, if you're somebody who likes to build natural buildings off grid, or you're interested in that, feel free to shoot me a comment or leave a message down below. I'll definitely respond. If you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, just feel free to like and subscribe and just comment, hey, how you doing? You know, a hi or whatever. Every day I'll be trying to provide more and more video content. So I hope you have an amazing one. Don't work too hard, and I'll see you soon. Peace.